metaverse, metaverse. What digital wearable will you choose in the metaverse, metaverse? It will matter how you look in the metaverse. It will matter how you look. It will matter how you look in the metaverse. It will matter how you look.
Mixed reality. Physical by Nerdy Gangsta and 360 Fashion. Nerdy Gangsta's virtual exhibition can teleport anywhere. The merging of real and virtual worlds to produce new environments and visualizations where physical and digital objects coexist and interact in real time. It is mixed, it is real, and it's here, and it's for you. And Nerdy Gangsta with 360 Fashion, here's where you start, with digital.
Powered by 360 Fashion.
Jack, Jill, and Bitcoin. Jack and Jill bought Bitcoin via Cash App each Sunday at 3:30 in the morning. They were super happy when the doctor saw a baby in Jill's belly transforming. As the weeks passed by, their account became stronger. They both thought the balance would take much, much longer. So they sacrificed their entertainment spending and paid in more money each week. They were vegan, and their baby was born with an unassisted natural birth technique. The pandemic hit, and Bitcoin had a bear run and fell pretty low. Jack caught COVID and wanted
Because
to
people
sell
of
right
color
then, but Jill
doing this
said,
stuff, it's just oozing with it. And I think that's really valuable as the space grows, where people, that can relate or identify, they
so they
find like
continued
a
saving
place of
until
like
they went
familiarity or
invisible.
comfort
They
in
bought a
somewhere
digital
that
wallet
is
and
very
kept
foreign
on
to them.
collecting.
I think it's
And
really
sure enough, Bitcoin
important.
began
So
to rise,
keep doing what
a
you're doing,
trickle
man,
in value
because
to a complete
the
surprise.
culture needs it.
Jack appreciated Jill and thanked her for her wit. Their generational
Yeah,
wealth is because they did not
I
quit.
tend to see like ideas that I have being, things that I've done in my space or on my Instagram sort of end up getting propagated over the rest of, it's
You're
really
so
weird
nice
too.
about it.
It's really weird, man. I want to be like, get off my dick, but that's not the approach. That's not the wag me mentality, right?
But they're watching you because we drive culture. We drive culture. Even racist motherfuckers speak ebonics,
That's
and
true.
it just is what it is. So everybody's watching you, even though you don't feel like you're getting the credit or cred or acknowledgement or whatever. They're watching to see where the cool points are and what gets cool points, and they're gonna steal from you every time.
Yeah. And it's weird because then I feel like, is it just me? Am I the only one noticing that this is like blatantly pulled right out of my parcel? Or it's like, am I the only one that noticed that I, had the first Batmobile? Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's petty, but it's like stuff that I create that's like stuff that came right out of my imagination, nobody else's. Now all of a sudden I'm seeing copycats. It's like, come on.
But Lex, I had to grapple with that, and it's okay. People come up with the same ideas a lot. They just do. Like when the car was created, I'm sure someone said, "Hey, this would be great if a stereo could be in here," or "It's hot, let's have an air conditioner in these cars." And maybe another person thought of that as well. So it's okay. The community speaks. When I go to the grocery store and I buy groceries, sometimes the last of something is being sold out, and I know, hey, that's a product that people are buying. I might get that too, and usually I'm right. So, you just have good taste, basically, and just look at it like that, man.
I have good taste, the guy that came up with the idea, or the people that are
Well,
stealing have good
actually,
taste.
the idea, the
Because it's
Batmobile
really
was
great.
out.
It's really
It was
great that
out
they
before you
came
were
up with
born,
the
though.
idea after they saw me with it. Like, it's really great that they came up with it after they saw me with it. Like, that's commendable, I guess.
The Batmobile was created before you were born, bro.
I mean, true. But I
Everyone
see
loves
stuff
Batman.
that I want to create in this space all the time. But because someone else had it first, I respect them. And don't do my version. If you look at my stuff, it's all like a lot of it is my version of like something that we all enjoy, something that's like pop culture, right? It's pop culture times Lex Luger. And then you see what I'm saying? But if I see someone else do it, I'm not gonna go out and do my version of it because they did it first. But I don't get that same courtesy. I don't get that same courtesy.
Come on, you're a genius, bro.
I wish the sort of props, acknowledgement, credit, whatever you want to call it, could trickle. But the reality is the space is going to grow so fast and so furious that you're going to be 10 years from now, even 5 years from now, because crypto moves so fast. You're going to be in interviews talking about, well, that was my idea. I started that. The same way we hear when we see interviews of people that have innovated before. That's usually, they're always trying to remind people, well, I did that first, because if it's not documented or acknowledged, people forget where the original thing came from, and then someone benefits like down the line because there's more people, more adoption, maybe they have more gravitas in some way. So now suddenly they're in an article where they're like, yeah, this person started this shit. And there's always somebody somewhere going, man, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
Tell that to Little Richard.
That's a
Exactly.
very, very good point.
This motherfucker made rock and roll for the most part, influenced so much of rock and roll and was just, ripped off, and nobody gives you credit when they rip you off.
Well, who was Little Richard Cock?
virtual
or
worlds,
emulating or
introduce
interpolating.
Yep.
new environments
That part.
and visualizations where physical and digital objects
I mean, we're all
coexist
inspired from
and interact
various
in real
sources,
time. It is
and
mixed,
sometimes there is
it's
a
real,
zeitgeist
and
to
it's here,
ideas.
it's
That
for
is
you.
for certain.
And Nerdy
So
Gangsta
sometimes it's
with
a
360
clear,
passion.
well, hey, you visited
Here's
here.
where you
Of
start.
course you saw
With
this
vision.
or whatever. But then there are some people elsewhere that just they do have a similar idea or an ambition, and okay, now it seems coincidental, but it's a zeitgeist of
360
like
fashion.
culture in the space. But it's a case by case basis, you know, who's doing it, etc. Lex, when you start seeing the entities and organizations, then you kind of know, because they're all, you know, these kind of think tank contributing sort of machines with various minions around, poking around, seeing what works elsewhere and bringing it back to the, you know, the monolith. And so
I mean,
those
we
yeah.
expect that. We expect Fortnite to rip off TikTok dances and stuff like that. But it's like the minute I put it on my menu, it's on your menu. Like, come on, bro. That I mean, I'm not sitting up here saying I haven't taken inspiration from people or that I haven't taken inspiration from other people's ideas. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the minute it's hot off the presses from my press, somebody else has got it printing, and it's like, man, that's what. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference between, just being inspired by artists that you're inspired from, and goddamn, can I have something for 10 minutes before the world's got to see your rendition of it? It's like, come on.
What's your input, Sasha? What's your how do you feel about this? Oh, maybe she's not available. But yeah, man, y'all pioneers, man. So it's the pain point of a pioneer. I feel like it's just inevitable. It's inevitable. What we need to do is ensure that the legacy rests squarely where it belongs. I think that's one thing with Web3, that all you have to do is look at the date of creations, and that'll tell you without even like any other, anybody's word about anything.
But it also means if you're serious about something, you better go lock down all the properties you need before you start talking about it. Because I can say, like, for my podcast with Web3 Warriors, pretty much like within 2 weeks after I launched it on Clubhouse and like told people about it, there was like 3 or 4 different collections calling themselves Web3 Warriors on OpenSea and stuff like that. So it's just, people out here definitely listening to others who are out here innovating and trying to do things different, and jacking that shit. But in the end, they can't do what we're doing, so you can't worry too much about it. But it is a fact.
Everybody doesn't have great ideas. Some people are just looking to get inspiration from somebody else, and then that's how they get popped off. And I don't know. I get it, because like, if they don't have the ideas and they want to be in this space, they're just like, well, I'll build off this thing this other person's doing. But at least I think ethically, they should try to make it theirs instead of just copy exactly. Because, they say the best form of flattery is this, but be inspired by, instead of like, well, I did the same thing this other person did.
Jack, Jill, and Bitcoin. Jack and Jill bought Bitcoin via Cash App each Sunday.
I
at 3:30
recognize,
They
the
were super
irony
happy when
of
the
calling
doctor saw
myself
a
Lex
baby on
Luger
Jill's belly
and then
trap.
saying people steal
As
my
the weeks
ideas. Like,
passed
I
by,
recognize
their
that.
account became stronger.
I
They
recognize
both
that. I'm
thought
not
the
sitting up
balance
here
could
saying
keep
like, oh,
growing
I'm some
much
genius
longer.
people are
So they
copying off of.
sacrificed their
I'm not
entertainment
saying that.
spending and
I'm
paid
not
them more
saying that.
money each week. They
I
were
take
vegan, and
inspiration
the
from
baby was
ideas
born
just
with
like
an
everybody
unassisted
else.
natural
I'm just
birth that
saying
week.
that it
The plan
feels
was
like the
working,
minute
and
I do
Bitcoin had a
something,
bear run and
I
fell
start to
pretty
see
hard.
it from all
Jack
the other
got COVID and
people,
wanted to sell
and
right
and
then, but
and
Jill
and
said,
there is no credit being given. There's no, oh yeah, I got, at least on TikTok they started to be like, hey, this idea came from such and such, and you could send them to that person's page and they can get a user follow or
so they could
like
hold
something out of
certain
it. You know what I'm
Bitcoin
saying? But
investment. They bought a digital wallet and
damn,
clicked on
I
buy.
go on Twitter and
And
it's like,
sure enough,
wow, that looks
Bitcoin began to
familiar.
rise.
That's familiar as hell.
Crypto
Didn't you
value
just visit my
fell
parcel?
continuously.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Jack appreciated
You
Jill's
that's
know,
what I'm
support
that's
talking
and his
about.
wisdom.
it.
This
The
is
generational
Peggy,
wealth is
and I run our
protected.
social media page and stuff. And it was a conversation actually I had with David last night where I'm going to be more intentional of, even though I'm sharing other people's art, to tag our people in it so that we start sharing each other's art. And that's what you're saying right there. Like, if you've seen and been inspired, make sure you're tagging in the people that inspired you so that we're inspiring each other. I feel you on that conversation.
I'd like to say if you have a popular character you create, I believe we're going to create some really amazing content out of the story timed out in the Web3 space in general. And, I don't know about a copyright system that is possible for the entire planet. If you look at China and the knockoff brands, no shade to China's culture or their people, but there are a lot of counterfeit products that come out of there like clockwork. So almost anything that's successful, you could probably anticipate it's going to be copied in some form or another. But when you think of something like Coca-Cola or some type of special seasoning that you put on the flavor you put on your content that no one can really touch, that's where you're going to be feeling confident at. Like you cook some food, and the way you make it, other people try to make it. You know, they just can't get it. So when you add that special trade secret sauce flavoring, you good. That's what I think. Thank you.
This makes me want to ask Plug about this because I feel like you're doing things in a way that is super unique to you. Like the further you dig into what you're making, it doesn't really look like anybody else's shit. But are you seeing anybody like quote unquote borrowing your shit, Plug? Like just are you starting to see copycats?
I want to say that. Um, I just know that type of stuff is inevitable because just being a creative myself, I always visually seen things and certain things inspired me to do shit. So I think that's like kind of like a circle that you can't. I mean, you can't like kind of. That's not. It's always gonna happen. In a sense, structurally wise, like as far as like business, how the fuck can you say it? I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna happen. So I guess that's just more motivation for you to be better at what you do, or try to add more of something that highlights you, so people know it's you, regardless of the situation. But it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. People are gonna be inspired by you, and they might not even remember that they got it from you, or they might not even be checking that they got it from you. They just probably just visually seen it. But I mean, even ideas that I've came up with just in the past or whatever, I sometimes would think that it was just me doing it, but that's not the truth, man. You got so many people out here in this world, you never know. So I think it just comes with it. And then the best way to deal with it is just use it as motivation. And instead of getting upset with it, because at the end of the day, there's really not nothing that you can do about it unless you have some type of protection on it. So, you know, we don't all get the flowers that we deserve within the moments that we think we need them. I don't know if that answered the question, but it just it's gonna happen. Definitely gonna happen.
Yeah, I think the more distinct people are with it's like dig into your art. You keep making it more and more you, and then there's no way anybody can really. If they do copy, it's like it's just so blatant because you've gone so deep into this like specificity that they can't really follow. Maybe they don't even know what techniques you're using. So then you get people messaging you, "How did you do this?" And that's where you're like, "Okay, do you give
It's
them the sauce?"
voxels, bro. It's voxels. You're not gonna create chiaroscuro with voxels. I mean, we're all using the same damn cubes. You know what I mean? Like the only thing that separates is our imagination, obviously, and then our technique again. But It's voxels. I mean, it's not like it's 32 by 32 by 32. We all have that same little, stage. So
But the way you stack those blocks makes a big difference.
For sure.
So
yeah,
until then,
nobody's stacking those blocks anymore. Everybody's doing 3D now. So and then downscaling. If you're doing art, you're not downscaling. You're building inside of Magic of Voxels. Yeah, you're doing it wrong.
You said wrong?
Well, think about it. If you build inside a Nomad Sketch or Blender, right? You have the benefit of having the actual 3D object, okay? And then you can downsample it to voxels. So yeah, if you're building it initially in voxels, you're only creating the time that you're creating 3D. You're only creating in voxels. Yeah, what they say? You're hustling backwards.
I
Yeah, but
think
I think
most people are up.
that process been going on for a while though, as far as
I,
people doing that.
I think most
Yeah,
people are
but
uploading
most
OBJs.
everybody didn't know that. And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said most people are uploading OBJs, I believe, but I'll keep listening.
No,
is
that's what we were saying, K-Dot.
downscale, is that the equivalent of downres because voxels can only handle so much, so you're like simplifying the thing that was more
Can you hear
complex
me
when
now?
you built it?
Now
Yeah,
we
we can
can
hear
hear
you,
you.
bro.
Okay, so what I was saying is, so I'm going backwards. You saying I'm hustling backwards because I'm working in Magical Voxel.
Yeah, I mean, you got to start in Magic of Voxels to know what you're doing. But my point is, once you start building, if you're going to create in 3D, which is what Magic of Voxels is just 8-bit 3D. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Uh-huh.
real like NURBS based or OBJ files, STL files. The best thing to do if you're really trying to create something for that volumetric space is to build in an actual 3D program and then save it as an OBJ and drag that OBJ into Magic of Voxels. And if you're going to sculpt, maybe modify it or refine it, but you're not going to get the precision that you want just creating initially in Magic of Voxels. You're not going to get it. The computer interpreting a curve from an OBJ file is always going to look better than a curve you try to do by hand, unless you're going to spend 20, 30 hours in there meticulously creating. And then it's like, for what? You can't upgrade that into an actual 3D file. You see what I'm saying? So the time you spent building in 3D, you could have had a OBJ file, an actual 3D file, and a Magic of Voxel VOX file, creating, cascading from 3D down to Vox, instead of just making straight in Voxes. I mean, voxels. It just makes more sense to create the 3D file. You see what I'm saying?
Duly
For
noted.
those who don't know,
Jill
go
and
ahead.
Bill. Jack and Jill bought Bitcoin via Cash
No,
App
no,
each
Thanks for that.
Sunday
that
at
wasn't.
3:30 in the morning. They were super happy when the doctor saw a baby
What was
in
you
the
finna say,
stomach
K-Bot?
transforming. As the weeks
I was going to
passed by,
say
their account balance
Magic of
doubled.
Voxels is a
They both
free
stopped
3D
worrying about
voxel
money.
editing software that anyone
The
here can
sacrifices
download if
they
your
had made
computer
every day
can
became more
process
meaningful
it.
to them.
And it is what
One
you
day, when the baby was born,
take 3D
Jill said
models
happy birthday.
and you turn your 3D
They
models into a
hugged
vox.
and
So, for
Bitcoin
example, if you had a
became
3D
their
donut,
reward.
you can drop
Jackpot
from
programs that
a
sell right
free
there
editor
in
like
the store.
Blender or free a modeling software like Blender into Magic of Voxels as an OBJ. And inside of Magic of Voxels, you can color it and shape it in a Vox
They
format.
continued saving
And
each
Lex here,
day.
by the way, I believe is
They
a
got a better
master at
car
that.
and kept on going.
So I,
They
I know
just
your
knew
work. I'm a
that if
fan
they
and I'm
kept
part of your community. So
getting
I
better,
don't see anyone really.
Jack
It's
appreciated
very hard to
everything
copy you. I don't see nobody
the
copying you,
generation loved
but
him
you might see it. I just don't see it. And yeah, if anybody wants to work on that stuff, I think it's a fantastic look inside 3D, which is where we're all going. So just to have a basic understanding of like opening, saving, turning, I think it would help everyone here to learn even the basics of 3D modeling. Thank you. I'm done.
Can
I
Ebro?
agree
Can
with
you
you, Kib.
take? Sorry,
Sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was gonna say,
No,
Ebro,
no.
can thank you. Can you take the OBJ files from Blender and use them in Spatial too? So like when Spatial Isn't Spatial trying to get to the point where you can share a link like Voxels in a website browser? So wouldn't it make more sense to start with Blender anyway?
Yeah, you can make everything you make in Spatial from Blender.
Yeah.
And Blender also exports Vox, OBJs, and USDZ. Remember, I've been talking about that, and FBX. You can make animation in Blender. You can make movies,
Blender this, so you can just do the Vox thing in Blender. You don't even need magical Voxes. What you saying?
but you can't. You cannot
No,
color.
you need
Go
magic of voxels to as a final like
to
capstone on
color.
your production. Yeah, because you're gonna paint it. You're gonna. Yeah, okay, here's another thing though. If you do a Drew Boo Boo or something like that, and you can get your colors from there, like from a photo or something, you can sort of. I haven't figured out how to apply those, but there are people that know how to get like photorealistic painting on these Vox models through tools like Drew Boo Boo. Maybe Brooke can tell y'all. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
So
that's
even Drew Boo Boo,
that's
right?
how
Well, no, all right. So
It's
I'm glad you
skin
brought up Drew Boo
wrapping.
Boo.
It's texture wrapping. It's really
I'm glad you
awesome
brought
and
up.
Hey,
easy.
Lex, chill,
Look,
because you're talking about the alpha that's given up, right? Then you're telling people that other people can give you the alpha. Don't give up no alpha, goddammit, if you think somebody's
I'm
on
not,
top of
Wait, Brooke was going to speak.
dude. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying anything that. Yeah, I'm not saying anything that. I got you. I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said in public already though.
Go ahead,
you
Brooke.
I
guys are
mean, at the end of the
crazy.
day,
Yo,
isn't it a
yo.
lot of labor
I think
going
y'all gonna
in?
be mad at me if I really. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm really interested in this shit right now, and y'all know how I get.
Stay interested. Pew 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 pew.
You know how I get.
Yep. Keep
If I
going.
really get into this shit,
Get in
I'm
there.
giving it all away for free. I'm giving all the
Get
game
in
You're
there,
away.
gonna love it.
buddy.
You're gonna love it, man.
I give it away for free too.
Oh, nah, I wasn't saying it like that. I was just joking.
No, I know you were
I was,
joking.
yeah,
No, he's talking to me. He's talking to me.
it's gonna happen, Slim. It's gonna happen.
Digital assets will be a currency and a security in the future. So,
Yeah, tripping.
you know,
I mean, like right now, you could build in so much utility by giving away your files for your like if you really wanted to like kill it, you could just as an
pilot push.
unlockable, you could give away all your templates and all your files for what you made for which project.
May I push back on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
You see, as a musician, you go and perform in some of these venues, like, oh, you know, you're gonna get exposure. So we'll pay the security, we'll pay the bouncer, we'll pay the parking, but you just get exposure. So what musicians and artists have done for a long time, musical artists have devalued what other people have worked hard for. And in this case, I would push back to say and yes, you can give yours away, but in doing that, you can also say others are, charged for this at least because we don't want to
But
go
you
down a
could do
slippery
super
slope.
packages, like it's because like those assets are going to be worth something someday, in 3D anyways. But like if I feel and we're amongst family that like say you create like a collection, okay, and say you either go into spatial or you go into voxels, you go into Decentraland or whatever, but say you come up with some theme of a drop, right? So you're making those files just in a sense for the drop, even though you probably can use them all over the place. It's still awesome because you're just showing so much proof of work by giving. And that means that you could like do more and more, you know what I'm saying? Like you're going to be making more and more and more. But I just think the more you give in this space, the more it shows you're going to stay around in this space.
You know, I honestly, and here's the thing. It's weird for me to be on this side of the fence because all I've done since, in terms of trying to even build any community myself, has been give, give, give. I've been giving free classes since what, April? And I've been teaching people the entire tool set, everything I learned in voxels. I even teach Nomad, Sculpt, and Sketch. Like it's all on my YouTube. And you give, and then you end up getting rugged and used and thrown out.
Yeah, and, it's part of the game.
I'm
And then you
not
dust yourself
done.
off.
I'm not done.
Sorry.
I don't know why everybody thinks I'm not done. And then when you decide that, hey, this is the line. I teach all this stuff. I give all this stuff, and then I determine what my line is. And people want to push my line. People want me to tell them all. They want to ask me any questions. Questions I've spent months learning, trying to find places, resources. all these things that makes my stuff look unique and feel the way it does, right? I'm supposed to give all that away. Why? Not even everyone in this room is even subscribed to my YouTube. I don't even know if all of y'all are in my Discord, but y'all are telling me what I can do and what I should be giving away for the sake of what? A community that what gets me rugged? And I'm speaking specifically to Brooke because Brooke knows what I'm talking about. I gave the Landau all of my texture files and info, and now you guys are building stuff without me after y'all kicked me out. So now you're gonna sit here and tell, "Well, I'm not done. I'm
first of
not
all,
done.
Lex,
I'm not done." When I land my plane, then you can talk. So now for you to be telling me that we're all family and community, and you guys got all of my stuff now, and are building stuff that with my stuff that I sourced that I went and found, I'm supposed to still feel comfortable giving away all of my stuff after you guys rug me? No. I'll decide when I'm done giving and what I'm done giving. Maybe I don't want everybody's stuff to look just like mine. I've been giving since I got here. So I'm not finna feel bad or feel like, hey, the community is gonna suffer without this. You guys do this too. There's a
first of all,
difference.
okay, are you
So
done?
so hey, I'll let you know when I'm done. Brooke, who the hell you think you are?
What
I
the
Because
don't
all
fuck
you
is
interrupt
do is
going
you.
on,
attack.
yo?
All you
I
do is
don't
It's
interrupt
attack.
already
you.
time to
All
I
go.
right,
don't
keep
interrupt
it
you.
calm.
Damn,
Keep
bro.
it calm,
Take this
Lex.
shit to the next
That's
level.
the
Easy.
fourth time.
Easy, brother.
He
Yo,
easy, man.
That's
Chill.
the fourth time
why y'all
though.
keep doing this shit, fool?
That's the
Y'all act
fourth
like this is
time.
fucking
And I have a
Christmas,
right to
man.
talk
Take
about
that
this.
shit
I've
elsewhere,
been
yo. That's
keeping
all y'all
all of this
doing.
hush hush. I've been keeping all of this hush hush. Really, I take snipes about Landau, but I haven't talked about what happened there or what kind of organization you guys are running. And every time I talk, everybody feels like they have a right to interrupt me and interject me when I just sit back and listen to y'all. So no, I'll decide when I'm done. I'll decide when I'm done talking. I'm done talking.
Peace, God.
First of all, Lex, all you have done is, first of all, number one, you haven't even had a conversation with me one on one. All you did was turn around, okay, and then smear the Landau any way you could. And you know what? There's a manifesto on you as the why, okay, as the why it had to be the separation. Okay. And you know what? I didn't go around smearing you. And all you do is take shots at me anytime you can. And it is not fair because I had your back. And you don't even know what went down. But you know what? You're too much of a coward to even come up to me and even want to talk about me. But you like to smear because that's what you do. It makes you feel good. And it's unfair. For a space that women want to come in, all I do is get shit from you and a lot of other people on this stage. And it's not fair. It's not fair. I've done nothing wrong to you. I can hold my head up high to anybody in this space because I haven't done anything but been supportive and kind. And when I was speaking, there was no, you took it and you took it as a shot to come out and get and try to come at me again. And it's bullshit, Lex. You want to talk? Let's go talk. But you find this dopamine drip of trying to tear me down in front of people. And it's bullshit. This, I want to respect women. I'm tired of it. You want to know? Listen, you want to open up some rooms and go down the truth train? Let's go down the truth train because I got a lot of truth in this space. Okay. I haven't done anything in this space to deserve what I've gotten, especially by you. So I would appreciate you to stop. And if you want to talk about it like a normal.
Yo, what was that?
Yo,
I
he
did. I
he
didn't
kept
do that. I
letting
did
him.
not do that. I was sitting and listening to her. I did not do
Okay,
that.
first of all, I don't know. I know I was late. I was 10 minutes late. Only the executive board's
All
supposed to
y'all
be
niggas
modded.
weird, fool.
So I'm not
Cause
sure why we have some extra mods, and I don't
So
know who
that's
just
my
did that.
fault
everybody
because
Hopefully, it was a
weird,
I
fool.
connection.
started the
Everybody
round.
weird and letting these
All right.
emotions run. Ain't
Yeah,
nobody.
let's
Everybody
keep
trying to
things
make money and
respectful,
shit,
people.
fool. Like
For real. All right.
y'all making this way more than what it should be, and it's
Yeah,
like
there's
every time shit happens, it's like y'all emotions show too
And
much.
I'll be serious. The land development down don't got shit to do with us at all. Not us.
What?
I don't know what
Yo,
the fuck that is about.
one thing about it though is right is that the opportunity for us to all do this presented itself at the same time, like in a sense, right? So every tool that anybody comes across is there for anybody to gather. So like when we start putting well, I found this, or I did this, or I did that, and proclaiming that you're the first one to do a thing and stuff like that. Those are hard decisions actually that people make easily. You know what I'm saying? To say that type of shit because you just don't know
Yeah,
who's doing what. You know
I
what I'm
agree,
saying?
plug. I agree, plug. But we
Like
just
that
have to
come
address. We
across.
have to address this here. This is a very serious
It's
injustice.
just, we're
Sorry.
just a small pocket of people who do things together and see each other's work. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like every day. But these tools are open source, so there's really no ownership in it until you build a thing that's kind of like specific to you. And then like even with Lex, when I see your work, I know it's your work. You know what I'm saying? But
All right,
you
plug.
gotta take it as you're inspiring other people. Even if somebody's stealing, you're still inspiring the motherfucker to do something. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's a hard. I see where his frustration come from in a sense. I don't know about the land development down, none of that. I don't know none of that other stuff.
All right,
But
plug. Thank you. Can I just take a second here? Because I just
Please.
need to clarify what exactly happened just now. And Brooke is still not back in this room, and
She
Yeah.
told me she's
she was
blocked from
clearly
the room.
talking.
She can't come in, David. She's tried to come back in. Somebody has blocked her from the room.
Somebody's blocked her.
Come on, man, for real.
I
Yeah.
would
Yeah, I'm
never, I would
talking to
never
her right now.
block her. That was not me. I just want y'all to know I wouldn't do that. I
Okay,
did
so
not
someone needs
block
to
her. I was
say.
listening to her. I was listening to her.
All right.
So, David, can you maybe bring some clarity and context because you maybe are not as emotionally attached? Because I don't know what the hell is going on. What I'm learning right now is brand new. Although I feel like I smelled something here or there, but I didn't sniff long enough. So I'm not writing about anything, but I feel like this is something that's been brewing somehow that like needed to come out.
Okay, well, people need to not be blocking each other within the community. This is completely unacceptable, first of all. Second of all, she was clearly in the middle of making a point that she has every right to make, and I'm not sure why anyone would block her, especially at that time. It's really
I motion we
incredibly
close the room and come right back.
disrespectful.
I motion we
So,
close the room and come back until
Concerning
Brooke can
that
come
she was
back.
kicked out like that.
yeah, it's very concerning and very rude
I
and
want to
just
know who did
horrible.
that for real. I don't want to be a
Yeah,
suspect.
right now I would like to know who did it. So is the person able to step up and say why they did it and who did it right now?
You know damn sure they not, man.
But come
Well,
on
I'm
now, for
giving them the
real.
opportunity right
Got
now.
people
I'm giving
hiding
them the
behind these
opportunity.
fucking mod badges.
We're gonna find out.
Because at first, journalist, I thought you said you accidentally kicked her when you maybe just like looking at her profile
No,
or something.
no, I didn't look at her
No?
profile even.
Okay.
I just said it's my fault. Somebody asked why are certain people modded, and I'm like, well, I started the room because it was late, and you know me, I'm not normally modding anything or anybody. So like as people came in, I'm just like, here, take the green thing.
All
And
right. Well, I just
oh,
thought that might be part of the issue here. But yes, we have been pretty clear about only modding the executive board just as a reason so that people, there's nothing else beyond modding. It's just an important responsibility, but we're not trying to just give out beans and make it a whole thing. So yeah, I think we've been pretty good and consistent with that. So we should be sticking to that. And secondly, again, that's just like completely unacceptable. So I would like for whoever did that to say that they did it. And if we have to blow up the room and invite Brooke back in here to finish her point, it's unfortunate that things have to get emotional and heated. People can leave their one-on-one conversations to each other directly. And on that point, I think Brooke had a very fair point. We shouldn't be calling out anyone directly and getting into personal spats on these stages. We're trying to have creative collaboration. We're live streaming into the Voxels metaverse, for God's sake. So please, everybody, like, let's just keep things emotionally level as much as possible. We are creative people. We get passionate.
Y'all just gotta, for God's sakes, out of David, bro. That shit made me laugh so hard. I almost spit my food out. Niggas said, for God's sakes.
Come on, people.
I think though we should reset the room and we should give it the opportunity to come back in and we gotta hash this out. So I'm
but
fine
because
with
on
that.
Where
second
I
that.
Yo,
just
that's always my rule, man. You start that blocking bullshit, blow the fucking room up and start over. And put
yeah,
book
we'll
respect
blow it
first.
up.
Yeah.
I just wanted
Yep.
to give the person the opportunity to apologize
Fuck
and
that.
address
Blow
it.
it up.
But if you're
Absolutely.
gonna be like that, come on now.
I'll come
All
back
right,
when y'all reopen.
so
all right,
so
we're blowing it
David,
up.
I
We're
do have
blowing
a
it up.
question though. If this
No,
is
we're blowing it up. We're blowing it up. We'll be
okay,
right back.
Yeah, you too curious.
Jack, Jill, and Bitcoin. Jack and Jill bought Bitcoin via Cash App each Sunday at 3:30 in the morning. They were super happy when the doctor saw a baby in Jill's belly transforming. As the weeks passed by, their account became stronger. They both thought the balance would take much, much longer. So they sacrificed their entertainment spending and paid in more money each week. They were vegan and their baby was born with an unassisted natural birth technique. The pandemic hit and Bitcoin had a bear run and fell pretty low. Jack caught COVID and wanted to sell right then, but Jill said,
No! Listen to me. If we continue on with our investment leveraging, you just may learn a thing or two about dollar cost averaging.
so they continued saving and Bitcoin investing. They bought a digital wallet and kept on collecting. And sure enough, Bitcoin began to rise. It tripled in value to their complete surprise. Jack appreciated Jill and thanked her for her wit. Their generational wealth is because they did not quit. The end.
You having a good time in New York?
Yeah, I'm just hanging out, chilling, enjoying the scenery, you know what I mean?
Word.
New York! Woo! Great stuff, really great. Wonderful, wonderful. I can't wait. Hey, you know what? Eat the food. Amazing food. Every single food. I love it. It's just wonderful.
Especially the pizza.
The pizza. Oh my God, the pizza to die for.
Let's go.
Oh, so good.
What digital wearable will you choose in the metaverse? It won't matter how you look in the metaverse. It won't matter how you look. It won't matter how you look in the metaverse. It won't matter how you look.
Mixed reality. Physical by Nerdy Gangsta and 360 Fashion. Nerdy Gangsta's virtual exhibition can teleport anywhere. The merging of real and virtual worlds to produce new environments and visualizations where physical and digital objects coexist and interact in real time. It is mixed, it is real, and it's here, and it's for you. And Nerdy Gangsta with 360 Fashion. Here's where you start with digital.
Powered by 360 Fashion.
More intentionally. Maybe I should have been more cognizant of what I was saying. I try to be circumspect with my speech, but I think it's still a relevant conversation, to have regarding, like people's expectations. Like it's one thing for you to say, okay, how do I do this? How do I do that? But then it's like, okay, well, where'd you get your source files from? That's not too much to ask. Like, it isn't. Shouldn't that make you uncomfortable to ask somebody for that? Like, I never would come and ask you for your source files for music, or if you were building something in 3D, I would never ask you for your source files for that. So I just didn't understand why people were comfortable, painting a picture of somebody who was trying to give to the community, trying to establish a community. I taught every technique that I learned, whether it was Nomad, whether it was blend. I mean, everything that I've learned, I've taught here. And so I just felt personally it was weird for me for people to say that I had a scarcity mindset, or that I was trying to like hold the community back because I wasn't sharing my source files. Like that just and maybe I don't know, maybe that's not a Storytime DAO thing, but maybe you guys can clear that up for me. And maybe since I'm just a friend of the DAO, I don't have a right to talk about that, but you guys need to let me know.
I understand how the conversation started from, IP and feeling like, ideas are taken, and that is definitely a sensitive topic, and we do get into sensitive, heated conversations, whether it's about using credit cards to buy NFTs or, crazy things happening in the space. There's a lot of
Yo, you
a lot of that
fucking
happens,
funny.
but we can't we can't turn things into personal issues, and we definitely can't be calling out and yelling at fellow, community members on stage. That's just not acceptable.
That's a strange.
Welcome back.
You're something else, David. You're something else, David. You're something else, man.
It is a strange comparison, but okay. I get it, and let's try. We all got to try to just be cool now, and maybe we can continue just growing this conversation. But obviously, some people feel very passionate and are emotional about this thing, so it's not going to go away just because we don't address it now or whatever.
Yeah.
And
It's
go
sorry,
ahead.
Pilar.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, David.
No, I was kind of just reiterating. You're good.
I would like to say, since Brooke is back in the room and she was booted, if she would like to speak, it's her turn right now.
I'm just going to apologize for my part of all of this, taking viable time away from the community as we're trying to get together. And I'm sorry that whatever caused such a gross display existed on my. I'm going to take my part of the issue.
And sure enough, Bitcoin began to rise. It tripled in value to
I I did want to say that when you look up above, it says community engagement, and unfortunately, in the community, things happen. People have disagreements or questions, or they ask about hearing something that is like there's an extractor in the space or a bad actor in the space, or what platform should they avoid, or what does it mean when a wallet is compromised, things like that. So to some extent, it Storytime DAO, our rooms, when they're community like engagement rooms like this, I think that there is a little bit of leeway, obviously, but maybe we can get to a point where if there's something that is directly personal, that you can sort of sort of hash something to a certain point, like allude to an issue, and then make it a private thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, do you want to discuss it in private or something like that, right? And maybe when we have, like I said, maybe when there is like a code of conduct and there's something there, maybe that's something that we offer, because I think we've had many rooms in many different spaces where we've discussed or heard other people discuss that there is nowhere to go in this space to deal with grievances or outright horrific situations that we've witnessed or seen or what have you. So I don't know. Maybe that's something that Storytime DAO offers or sets up with other groups, or who knows? Do you know what I mean? I'm like way futuring or whatever. But community is how can you talk about community and be like, well, you're part of the community, but we really don't want to know when something's bothering you.
We got to draw a line on the definition of community. This is the
Yeah.
DAO community. We are not the people's court. We don't solve the entire space's problems.
Sure.
We're focused on the Storytime DAO, and this is an encouragement for people. If you want that kind of resolution ability within this community, maybe you should think about joining in a formal way, become a member, get in here and start voting and participate, so we can maybe embrace something. But like the idea of us just, bring your problems to Storytime DAO, that I don't believe that's what that means.
Here goes. Community also doesn't mean just because somebody lives in your community 3 blocks from your house does not mean that motherfucker pays your rent or buys you food every day, right? People are exaggerating what community means. Because we live in the same community does not mean that we are in a parasitic relationship where everything that happens to you happens to me. That's not what community means.
I think it's symbiotic relationship.
That's an interesting perspective, because you can't choose your neighbors. Sorry, Pilar, please go right ahead. I'll wait.
No, you started. I was like clapping. Sorry.
No, I'm actually done. He's right. I think everyone's right. You can't choose your neighbors. You can't be happy with everybody all the time. Hell, you might even have some family members you don't want to check for all the time. You want to see them when it's healthy for you, and sometimes it's not. I don't know anybody who knows someone constantly forever and loves them every second.
David, I know there was a conversation about a mediation process and so forth, and I felt like it was Singyun and Euphoria that were still in that lead. Is that kind of the conversation, and are they still available for this process? Because it is something I have sitting in, but I get too personal.
Either of these.
The lack of conflict resolution has driven both of them away, as you can see.
That's what I was afraid of.
Well, I wouldn't say that it's driven Singyun away. She's very busy with a lot of other things. as well, and she is still helping a lot with administrative, just input. But the code of conduct is still under construction, under being put together, and we do need a formal conflict resolution committee. And yes, Singyun and Euphoria stated this rightly months ago, and we did formally kind of plug it in. And we have the process where we have been reiterating that the executive board members are open as avenues for any issues within the community, and we will promise to take on and address any issues that are brought up to us directly. And there's also the submission form that is available now. Whether that's available to everyone, Friends of the DAO, I'd have to double check, but we have been, and we can definitely make it available to everyone in the community. But there is the submission form that we did set up specifically, for this reason, to be able to have that line of communication and address any issues. So, yes, it's the starting of it has been done. But to Pilar's point, it's not just a simple snap of the fingers thing. It's a formal committee, a formal leadership, team that is able to, deal with these issues, deal with any conflict resolution in a professional way.
If we
Can I
look
ask a
at it as
question?
mediation, there is truly a process to it, and I can get some of that up there for us to look at so that it's truly in the charter as a process where it's non-bias and equal sides, equal power.
Can
Well,
I ask a question real quick?
yeah.
How removed from Storytime DAO is the Dream Conduit? Just curious.
Fully removed. We just happen to have two members of the executive board who also are members, leadership team of the Dream Conduit.
Okay.
We are separate entities. We've talked about potentially being able to take advantage of the fact that the Dream Conduit's a 501c3, if we did want to try to look in that direction for funds or support. But no, there's no formal attachment.
And maybe the question should be, is there conflict resolution for a member and a non-member combination? Because this is, which I mentioned in our Congo thread, these are, and no, nothing against you guys or anything, but you guys came to the barbecue and started tearing the picnic table up, but you're both guests. So like, how, again, I'm asking the same question. This idea of like resolution in the process, it's for members to submit. If you're not a member,
I don't need resolution. I'm only in here to finish the conversation. So I wanted to give everybody the respect to let them be heard, and then I don't need resolution. I'm not looking for mediation. You guys keep talking around that. I'm not interested in that.
I mean, some things are irreconcilable, or maybe it just takes time. We could look up 2 years from now and it could be a different thing.
Let's just stop talking about it. Like,
we'll look up 2 years from now. We'll have a bunch of dope projects.
I think everybody had a chance to say what they had to say. Right? Nobody's looking for mediation. I don't know why we're still talking about it, honestly.
All right, Lex. We're just talking about it from an administrative standpoint because we're trying to be a business and a professional organization, and conflict resolution mediation will be part of that organization. It is part of the organization already, but it'll be a more formal approach that will be ironed out. Anybody else on this before we move on? I think as maybe a little icebreaker, we could all jump into the metaverse and check out the community video that Jocko's got. Thank you, Jocko, for manning the OBS today. We got the live stream going on in the Voxels Metaglades screen, if y'all want to jump in there. And we've had a few new submissions from the community as well. So get your audio on. Jocko's going to have to back it up and start it from the top. And but yeah, if anyone before we do that has any other points or anything they'd like to add, but let's try to get to the creativity if we can.
So they continued saving in Bitcoin investing. They bought a digital wallet and kept on collecting. And sure enough, Bitcoin began to rise.
Adrian, I feel like you want to say something.
Jack appreciated Jill and thanked her for her wit. Their generational wealth is because they did not quit. The end.
That's what I have to say.
Well, I would. Okay. We don't have to move on. We can have a conversation about it.
Do you feel
I
like
don't want to be tone deaf.
Yeah, would you please, or is that?
You having a good time in New York?
Yeah, I'm just hanging out, chilling, you know.
I want to make sure
enjoying
we're
the
not
scenery, you know
dismissing
what I
the
mean?
respect and responsibility to the room. And
Great
whether they're
stuff,
friends of the
really
DAO
great.
or are members of the DAO,
Wonderful, wonderful.
voices do have to have
I
that
can't
safe
pay.
space to
Hey, you
speak.
know what?
So I
Eat
guess
the
it's
food.
just, to
Amazing
me,
food.
Lex, I
Every
hear your
single food.
feelings,
I love it.
but
It's
when it's
just
treated
awesome.
like that, please
Especially the
respect the
pizza.
room
The
and
pizza.
have that
Oh my
one-on-one
God,
with
the
the
Yeah.
people.
pizza to
Yeah, I think
die
Lex already
for.
left.
Let's go.
Oh, so good.
It is what it.
He
Brooke,
might come back later, but yeah.
Brooke, I would love to hear your thoughts.
I've
'Cause I
offered every opportunity to have a talk. I've tried to be kind. We moved on. I've had lots of things happen in this space. I've moved on. I stay present and working. I'm done being disrespected, and that's the only thing that I'm going to say. I didn't deserve to be treated that way. The fact that I got kicked out because I was speaking truth finally, because it all came out. And I just want you to all know that I'm sorry I lost it to this ecosystem and caused loss of time, headaches, etc. I will take my part, and once again, and all of that. I want to move on, and I want to get to creating. I was so excited for today, and the fact that it got completely just left field is upsetting. And I think that's why I've also got so upset, because I was in a really good space coming into this room.
So, on that note, there's always somebody that wants to move on in a conflict because they're ready to move on. But if somebody feels scorned and that is not addressed, to tell someone to move on, they're frozen there. And
How can you? So the journalist, let me ask you a question. What happens when you go and you try on multiple channels and say, hey, listen, whatever it is, let's work through it. I'll take all I am a responsible, for my actions. I'm extremely responsible person. But I see a lot of actions move in back channels and back chatter and triangulation and grossness. Okay. I'm willing to come up to and own anything that I have done wrong in my life. Anything. Okay. The fact that there's not a lot of people in this space that are willing to own up to truth, that's an issue. But you know what? Until that's going to be probably several years down the road for a lot of people in this space. But you know what? Up until that point, I was the one that was abused here. I feel like we need to move on. I love this community. I saw something completely different. People actually cared about me, and that really showed me something, because sometimes I don't really feel cared about, but I don't care. I'm just so I appreciate that people showed up and in the right position. And if anybody so I personally would like to move on, and it was because of a situation where I was included in that caused the chaos. I also want to once again stress that I am determined, and I will work better. I'll work on it.
I want to thank you for that. And sorry, David, I just want to add something tiny. It's that, it would be great if Storytime DAO was known as a DAO that has safe spaces. You see what I'm saying? Like that's all I'm talking about trying to get to that place where, there is a code of conduct, there's an avenue for whatever that looks like. I'm sending simply, David knows I'm sending simply and Euphoria, the stuff I've put together. And that sort of thing. And maybe in the future, somebody creates something, we become a part of that. I don't know if it's a service or whatever, because it's going to benefit us. But it's worth pointing out that small businesses, all the way to enterprise businesses, they have very, very serious policies. Code of conduct, avenues of all the way through, up to, what do you call it when you
Here's where you start.
open up about things like criminal things that you've witnessed. Do you know what I mean? Within
misconduct and conflict resolution.
There's that thing, something
by 360
whistleblower
Fashion.
things. Do you know what I mean? All the way up, right? So I think it would be nice for us to be able for people to come into our spaces and know that they're safe there. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, just because like we listen, part of like storytelling is listening. Part of people being able to speak their truth, that's story too, right? So it kind of goes hand in hand in a whatever ethical way or whatever have you, and it has its own pocket, and I get it. And I don't suggest that we're here to be therapists, not at all. But it would be great for us to stand up for our space, to say that someone can't come into our space and attack someone, or someone can't come into it with everyone just standing by and saying like what else, you know what I mean, like that kind of thing. And it would be nice to know that in our space we're not okay with people being disrespected or being spoken to in a condescending manner, even something as subtle as that. Do you know what I mean? Because those are because we uphold safe spaces. So that's all a part of code of conduct, things like that. I'm just
Did we
saying.
not handle it pretty good to your?
Yeah, I just wanted
Oh,
to like lay it out so that it's like a little broad and whatever, and we acknowledge that I think we're all on the same page, right? And we don't
Nah,
have bind yet, but I think we're all on the same page.
nah. I think they were not addressing the elephant in the room. It's like I think people now allowing this space to be like an emotional vent. It's like, okay, we're not gonna not allow you to speak, but it's I guess it was just a respect thing, right? I guess from where we're at, I think it's a little dismissive to just move on, because it's like he's not even part of the story time. Like, I understand he was venting his issue, but it's like, focus on your issue and let's move forward, because we're supposed to be in Voxels right now, right? Everybody put art together so we can see the shit. But now it's like, because of, I feel like an emotional issue or just like temperament, you gotta be able to control yourself. Even if you upset at somebody, if you don't want to address it, don't do shit a certain way. And I'm trying to pick my words carefully, because it's like, it's a way better way to voice this, but it's like, I think there's a time and place for everything, and I think for the story time now, for what we're doing right now, like, that wasn't the place. Like, if you got an issue, take that shit elsewhere. Like, don't nobody want to hear that shit. I personally don't want to hear that shit, and I don't want to feel like now we're taking our
Jack,
time to address
Jill,
issue that
and
could have been
Bitcoin.
handled on the
Jack
outside.
and Jill
And
bought
now it's like,
Bitcoin via
okay,
Cash App
is
each
it
Sunday at 3:30 in the morning.
a
They were
members
super
issue, or
happy
is
when
it
the
just
doctor
a
saw a
communal
baby
issue,
in Jill's belly
right?
transforming.
I
As the
feel
weeks
like
passed by, their
we're
account became
trying to
stronger.
do so much
They
creative
both thought
stuff
the balance would take
that
much,
we're
much
going
longer.
past the
So they
fact that
sacrificed their
we have
entertainment
individuals in
spending
this
and
room
paid
that
in more money
might not
each
fuck
week.
with each other.
They were
And
vegan,
it's
and their
like,
baby
that's
was
probably
born with an
hindering
unassisted
us
natural
developing
birth
more than
technique.
this shit
The
going forward.
pandemic hit,
You feel
and
me?
Bitcoin had a
So
bear run and fell pretty low.
I think if we're
Jack
here
caught
for a
COVID and
certain
wanted to
thing,
sell
do
right
that.
then,
We're here
but Jill
for like an
said,
hour and a half. Let's do that and move forward. And then we can handle, you can handle your one-on-one personal beefs with anybody on the outside, or if you need a mediator or anything like that, you should have that. But I
so they
think
continued
this shit
saving in
completely
Bitcoin
derailed
investing.
like the day,
They
because I was
bought a
looking
digital
forward to this
wallet
shit
and
too. And
kept
I'm
on
like, yo,
collecting.
what's going
And
on?
sure
And I
enough,
think that this bear
Bitcoin
market
began to
affected a
rise.
lot of
It
people. It's
tripled
like
in
this shit
value to their complete
really shows,
surprise.
and I think this
Jack
goes down to the
appreciated
convo we
Jill
was
and
having
thanked her for
earlier,
her
though.
wit.
It's like,
Their
when shit
generational
hit the
wealth was
fan, you
because they
see how
did not quit.
how things happen,
Deep.
And I think that everyone needs to just gauge their emotions, gauge themselves, gauge why you're here, and if it's for the art, keep being creative. You feel me? And don't let these emotions rise so high that now you're picking battles with somebody based off something that happened in the past that haven't been
You having a
addressed.
good time in New York?
You feel me?
Yeah, I'm just hanging out, chilling, enjoying the scenery, you know what I mean?
Word.
New York! Woo!
how it affects these
Great
people
stuff,
live
really
or
great.
online spaces all
Wonderful,
over the world.
wonderful. I can't say, hey, you know what? Eat the food.
Smart people.
Amazing food.
to give a little grace to mental health.
It's
I
just
have
awesome.
Especially the pizza.
The pizza. Oh my God, the pizza. That's
mental
nice.
Let's
clear
go.
mind.
So good.
Sometimes my emotions get high, but I think that part is something to consider. How what people are experiencing in the moment. Sometimes you have these emotional reactions to triggers. I myself do it. And I'm a little like Lex, so I hear what's coming from. It's supposed to be heard, be valued, and get valued. You might feel excluded sometimes or victimized. A lot of us suffer from victimization complexes. I'm one of them. I'm very sensitive. So this thing called HSP, it's a hypersensitive person. It's a real condition. As like we all know, all these other conditions are showing up. So let's just try to have that in hot a little bit too, because we all know we go through things. All right, thank you.
Let's just be sure that, because here's my take on the context of this, because I haven't seen Lex to be that person, frankly, this whole time that I've known him. So if somebody feels that they've been kicked out of a community and their IP or what they've built has been taken from them, every single thing those people do is like a microaggression. And so it's been adding up. This is a blow up of sorts. And Brooke, being the sort of face of the moment, is not even the entire Landau, but she's a representation by her simple presence and activity there. So she became the face of his anger in this moment. But Brooke herself...
It's not been in the moment. He's done it multiple times to me, journalists. I've let it go. I've sucked it up.
So Brooke, what I'm going to say is you cannot also, on behalf of that entire Landau, resolve everything. You're just one piece of a larger problem that needs to be resolved. So you apologizing or saying we need to move on, it's bigger than that, because it's an entire entity that he feels slighted by. And so that alone makes it deeper and more profound than any sort of conflict resolution between you and him. You're just divisible as is now everywhere in this space. You're the constant reminder. Now, I'm not saying that's your fault, other than it's the incident and side effects of what went down.
No road
But from what I heard, I would understand why
I could put road notes in there tomorrow.
Triggered all of that. It was just
no road
a chain of events that
that's proper community.
Work put in, etc., led to a remark that was made. But I don't see him as somebody who's hypersensitive in the space. So I feel that this is all boiled I don't want to just relegate this
matter how you look in the metaverse. It won't matter how you look. It won't matter how you look in the metaverse. It won't matter how you look.
Realizing the entire Landau needs to figure out what to do, because I don't know the Landau that much. But I already feel like
by Nerdy Gangsta
haven't approached him, and you're
and 360 Passion.
That's not the way to do
Nerdy
it.
All he's
Gangsta's
done is
virtual
trash
exhibition
it.
can teleport
He's just
anywhere.
trashed and trashed and
The
trashed
merging
and
of real and
trashed.
virtual worlds to produce new environments.
Should we, and you know what, we try to be the better people,
where
because the
physical
whole
and digital
manifesto,
objects
I think Good Guy
coexist
sent it to you, journalists.
and interact
Okay? In
real
addition to this,
time.
first of all,
It
in
is
addition
mixed.
to this
It
wasn't
is
the first
real.
community
It is
or
here.
second
It
community.
is for you.
At this point, the Landau was
And
the
Nerdy
third
Gangsta
community that there's been
with 360
involvement
Passion.
of issues.
Here's where
Okay,
you
and I'm not
start.
going to talk about the other.
With
I really
pissing.
don't need to air any dirty laundry about. But you know what? There's a whole bunch. Okay. And you know what? If it all needs to come out in front of the whole
Powered
community, let's open
by
up a room and
360
just go at
Fashion.
it. Because let's do it. If everybody needs to know the truth, let's all bring the truth out to the table. Because you know what? Even though most obviously it's obvious people don't like the truth in here, because he booted me. So I think he probably booted me out. The truth, you know what? As long as it's the truth, people can like it or not like it. At the end of the day, it's the freaking truth. So let's get the truth out.
So what are you sorry for then?
Because I respect so many people in this space. Okay, I love the Storytime DAO. I love the people in this community. I love Low Sleazy. Okay, And I feel like I caused a problem, and I am working really hard to be in good favor in this community and work once again and become a viable member of this community. So when these things happen, which that was not warranted again on me, it's happened so many times at this point, but this whole incident, I didn't deserve it. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm part of it. So I'm going to own my part and do the right thing and take whatever I did wrong, and I am going to own up to whatever it is.
Yeah,
See,
that's
that's
what
the
I'm
thing.
trying to figure out, because that's the root of what he's angry about. Even if he has been doing
journalist.
other things in other places, I think there's a very specific thing that he's upset about. And I think if we get to the bottom of that, that will be the end, because he's seeing you guys taking his work and building on it.
Not true.
Journalist, I feel like
But journalists, we don't need to speak for anybody.
right,
We don't need
and that I
anyone
know.
here to speak for anyone, and that's caused, one second, David, I'm so sorry. That's caused issues in the past, and we don't need to repeat them now. At the end of the day, this does not have anything to do with Storytime Gal.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry that I know I'm often in multiple places at multiple times, and I have no context of what the heck triggered whatever the heck happened over the last hour. However, I understand that there's a pattern here that needs to be addressed, that every single one of us in this room can do something about. Everything else, we can't do nothing about, and we gotta let the people who are responsible handle what they're responsible for. What we can all address is how we speak to each other. This is a consistent issue. And I agree that what just happened was incredibly inappropriate. And it shouldn't have happened in the first place, because there were how many 20 plus people in this room that at any point in time, I don't know how long it was going on, but at any point in time, anyone could have literally ended that and said, yo, this is inappropriate, it doesn't need to happen here. And like I overheard Ebro say, take it somewhere else. But there's a consistent issue that progresses, not just in this room, but the fact that we call ourselves a community and we're consistently following each other in all of these different rooms, regardless of what the topic of the day is. It's the majority of the same people. And we just don't speak to each other anymore. We don't. And we let things go too far. Consistently. And it's not about censoring anyone, because that's not the intent, right? No one here is looking to censor anybody. However, it's very clear that we
Jack,
consistently let
Jill,
things get out
and
of hand.
Bitcoin. Jack and Jill
We
bought
all
Bitcoin
communicate
via
differently.
Cash App
And
each
it's not about
Sunday at
saying that
3:30 in the
someone
morning.
is too sensitive
They
or
were super
isn't too
happy when
sensitive,
the doctor
because
saw a
everyone
baby
has the right to
in
feel
Jill's
what they
belly
feel, whether we agree with it or
transforming.
not.
As the
We
weeks
have the
passed
right
by,
to
their
disagree as
account
well.
became stronger.
But
They both
voicing
thought
that
the balance
opinion in a
would take much,
disrespectful and
much
disruptive
longer.
manner
So they
and making
sacrificed their
everyone be
entertainment
subjected
spending
to it,
and paid in more money
none
each
of us
week.
have a right to do
They
that.
were vegan, and their baby was born with an unassisted natural birth technique.
We have to
The
stop.
pandemic hit, and Bitcoin had a bear run and felt
Honestly,
pretty low. Jack caught COVID
it
and
doesn't
wanted
make
to
any
sell
sense.
right then, but Jill said,
It really doesn't. And I get that, you know, sometimes I in my own perspective, being an extremely logical person, I try to make sense out of things that don't make sense. However, I feel like it's
so they
appropriate in
continued
this moment to
saving
at
and
least
Bitcoin
voice that.
investing. They bought a digital wallet and kept on collecting.
I'm not
And
saying that
sure
we
enough,
have to be zeros and
Bitcoin
ones,
began to rise.
but I am
It tripled in
saying that
value to their
there's a
complete
spectrum here.
surprise.
There's a lot
Jack
of gray
appreciated
area,
Jill and thanked
and
her
every
for her
single
wit.
one of us needs to
Their
take the
generational wealth
respect
is because they
that we
did not.
owe every single other person in this room and figure out how to exhibit that consistently.
Thank you, Adrian. And just to put a pin on that, like specifically, you know, what we could have
You having
done
a good
better
time in New York?
is shut down a conversation that is very clearly about Brooke and Lex's professional, past that they had, and not let that continue on. And I do think in the context of community engagement, you know, we do allow a very broad umbrella of conversation.
Especially the pizza.
But what I was very, very disappointed by or upset about was the fact that it just gets to that heated level of disrespect. I think we all called Lex out when he definitely was very direct to Brooke and talking bullshit. And we called him out there. And I also just wanted to say, before everyone joined in here, Lex was one of the first to join in. And I told him he was wrong for what he said. I told him he should apologize specifically to Brooke. He did apologize to the room. He apologized to Storytime DAO. And I told him he should apologize specifically to Brooke for what he said and the way that he said it. And calling anybody out that way, that aggressively in front of so many people was completely unacceptable. So I just want that to be very clear on the record, that is also, like, to your point, journalist, doesn't really matter how much pent up whatever there is, all this anger, whatever, like, nothing justifies taking on an individual person in that manner on this stage or in this community ever. So period. I don't care what triggered him or what the situation is, you know. And frankly, the fact that he didn't want to stick around for the actual community engagement, you know, says a lot too. So yeah, Adrian, was that correct, you know, as far as what we should have done better is shut down that conversation earlier? Is that your point? I just want to be clear.
Yes, but not just in this room. And the majority of them. I'm addressing the pattern. This is not an anomaly. This is not a very unique event. We consistently don't hold each other accountable as people who say that we're in a community or try to exhibit or claim that we exhibit some type of togetherness. But we don't hold each other accountable, at least at the very minimum, for how we speak to each other. That's the absolute minimum. We're consistently raising our voices at each other for no reason. And it's a difference between being passionate and being out of pocket. There's room in this space for passion. Obviously, it's what we want. And it's what drives these things that we hear the majority of us. Who's getting paid? Who? And when? In very specific situations, under contract most of the time. However, we're together because we can pay together. We're here because we're looking for something. In most cases, it's information. In many cases, it's community. In many cases, it's to learn from each other, to share with each other, right? However, however, there's an issue. If we can't communicate with each other, to the end of the day, something that I learned very young is that it doesn't matter if you have, you can have all the digital wearable will you choose in the metaverse? It will matter how you look in the metaverse. It will matter how you look. It will matter how you look in the metaverse. It will matter how you look. Because everyone will continue to be affected by this issue. Because you positioned yourself in a manner that you refuse to grow and cultivate the skills to communicate with people who actually implement the things or share the things or receive
Nerdy
the things
Gangsters
and
virtual
have
exhibition
impact
can
on
teleport
the
anywhere.
thing that you have.
The merging of
They
real
cancel
and
themselves
virtual
out.
worlds to produce new environments and visualizations where physical and digital objects coexist and interact in real time.
I just want to add to that a little bit. She's
It is real.
just made very, very valuable points, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
With 360
I also
passion.
want to add that, you know,
Here's where you
we need
stop.
to be able to
With
trust
precision.
that we're going to be respected in our rooms, right? And that safety is really huge. And you know,
Powered by
kicking
360
someone out like
Fashion.
that in mid sentence, you know, we can do better. Do you know what I mean? Like, we can have an open conversation and say, you know what, let's move this and end the room or whatever. Like, make a decision like that. But you know, just chopping someone off mid sentence like that, incredibly disrespectful. I mean, egregiously disrespectful. Kicking someone out like that in mid sentence. You know, yeah.
I'm still hoping it was an accident, but the fact that she was blocked after means that was intentional. So I don't know what that's just crazy. That's really crazy. All right. Thank you, Pilar, and thank you, Adrian. Very, very good points. And yeah, in general, I think we can do better. Lo, any thoughts? Anybody else?
I love what he said. Pure pause.
Go ahead, Jungle.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, you want me to say something? All right. Yeah, man. I just wanted to remind everybody when we get to work, right? hey, I need help with a video. Hey, what software should I use? Hey, my shit down. I need some help with this. You know what I'm saying? You sit in these rooms, you don't see for hours. Let's work. You know, we got a lot of stuff to do. So let's keep the beat up and let's do our thing. I was thinking about opening up a room and doing a screen share. Me and Ebo been hitting the marathon and such like that. So look, if you got some projects, you got some shit that you're working on, let's work. I think that keeps us I think that keeps us out of a lot of bullshit when we just do the things that we say we're gonna do. So y'all down? Let's open up a room. Let's play some music. Let's get some screen sharing going. You're working in After Effects. You're working in Procreate. You're working in Nomad. You're working on whatever the fuck. Screen share it. Spark up a joint. Grab yourself a glass or whatever. Hopefully it's water. And let's just do some work. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're here for. So let's work. If you want me to open up another room and such like that and do that, unless y'all still wanted to hit on some topics with story timed out, we could do that. I'm down with whatever. I appreciate the words of A Guy and Ebro. Appreciate everybody, just sharing the energy, but it's just all remember. I'm here to work.
I'm late to the show, but I'm gonna tell you something that I know.
No,
Okay.
no,
Baba,
no.
come on, man.
No,
Come on, man.
Stop. No. Don't start this shit.
Well, maybe it has something to do with Michael Jackson.
Don't encourage them, Charles. Lo, you were gonna say something.
I think we need to stop acting like we live in a soap opera and start acting like we're at work. Right? I think people need to be more concerned with the bottom line than how
Jack,
they feel
Jill,
about how we're
and
getting to the
Bitcoin.
bottom line.
Jack and Jill bought Bitcoin via Cash App each Sunday at 3:30 in the morning. They were super happy when the doctor saw a baby in Jill's belly transforming. As the weeks passed by, their account became stronger. They both thought the balance would take much longer. So they sacrificed their entertainment spending and paid in more money each week. They were vegan, and their baby was born with an unassisted natural birth technique.
I was supposed to be learning from
The
y'all.
pandemic hit, and
how to deal
Bitcoin had a bear
with,
run
normal
and
people.
felt pretty low.
And
Jack
come to find
caught
out, y'all ain't
COVID and
normal.
wanted to sell right then, but Jill said,
I think we all need to
Listen to me. If we
learn how to
continue
talk to each
on
other a
with
little
our
better.
investment leveraging,
Definitely guilty
you
of that.
just may learn a thing or two about dollar cost averaging.
I think hard
so they
conversations are
continued
important to have,
saving
and
in
I'm glad we're
Bitcoin
having this one.
investing. They bought a
But yeah,
digital
that shit
wallet
can't happen
and kept
again.
on
I don't care who
collecting.
you are.
And sure
If you
enough,
got outside
Bitcoin
problems, y'all
began
need
to
keep
rise.
outside.
It tripled in value to their complete surprise. Jack appreciated Jill and thanked her for her wit. Their generational wealth is because they did not quit. The end.
Yeah, you missed a lot, Baba. We'll fill you in after. But yeah, sure. Jeffrey, you've been here listening, right?
I've been here. I've been here for about a half an hour, so I didn't hear. I guess there was some conflict right before I came.
You having a good time in New York?
Enough
Yeah,
recap.
I'm just hanging out,
Imagine,
chilling,
I guess,
enjoying
with
the
that,
scenery, you know what I mean?
Word.
New York,
there's something called the boost.
great stuff, really great. Wonderful, wonderful. I can't wait. Hey, you know what? Eat the food. Amazing food. Every single food. I love it. It's just wonderful.
Especially the pizza.
The pizza. Oh my God, the pizza to die for.
Let's go.
In 1965, who said that these phases are all necessary and inevitable in order for a team to grow, face up to challenges, tackle problems, find solutions, plan work, and deliver results. As Tuckman knew, these inevitable phases were critical to team growth and development. He hypothesized that along with these factors, that interpersonal relationships and task activities would enhance the four-stage model that is needed to successfully navigate and create effective group function. I'm just going to stop there. That's right on Wikipedia. So if you Google Bruce Tubman, you'll see his Wikipedia page. You could get that. But it's called forming, storming, norming, performing, and it usually goes in that sequential order. I would say that, like I think Abe brought up, like a lot of these trends happen across clubhouse rooms, but I'm just going to speak specifically for the Storytime DAO. I think in the DAO, we have evolved past the forming stage, and we're now kind of in part of the storming stage, which is the second stage. And like Lo said, like a lot of us aren't normal. That's the next stage. Like we're gonna find a baseline of being normal with one another, I think. But that storming has to come out. And, you know, for whatever it's worth, that's what popped in my mind. So, you know, I've been part of a nonprofit, you know, for 30 years and as an administrator for almost half that time. And like I run programs, we have almost 200 staff. The hardest part of my job is mitigating and navigating conflicts. The shit just happens all the time. And if it ain't happening in the workplace between two staff, it's between a client or a family and a staff, it's between staff and their own family. The key is how do you mitigate it? I think it was Pilar. How do you create a safe, brave space for communication?
No robots at all.
Where we all,
I could put robots in here tomorrow.
Storytime DAO, and conversations like this.
No robots. Yeah, that's proper community.
Not just, you know, does it feel good? Reach, reflect on the conflict. David, you do a great job, my brother.
Digital wearable will you choose in the metaverse? It won't matter how you look in the metaverse. It won't matter how you look. It won't matter how you look in the metaverse. It won't matter how you look.
Evolution of an organization or a collective.
Mixed reality.
I just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Physical by Nerdy Gangsta.
Thank you,
And
Jeffrey.
360
Appreciate the
fashion.
compliment.
Nerdy
Anybody else?
Gangsta's virtual exhibition can teleport anywhere.
I'd love to learn more about that.
The merging of real and virtual worlds to produce new environments.
Well, I was vaguely familiar with that.
Visualizations,
So, yeah.
where physical and digital objects coexist
Good share.
and interact
Yeah,
in
and
real
eventually
time.
we'll have the
It is
ethos
roots.
of what
It is
Storytime
real.
DAO
It
is,
is
right?
here.
Like, what's the
It is for
ethos
you.
of Storytime
The
DAO?
Nerdy Gangsta
You know, as an
with
organization,
360 fashion.
right? What
Here's where you start.
projects, like
With
external
vision.
projects or partners, is Storytime DAO willing to entertain or collaborate with? That's all a part of it, right? And it begins from an
Powered
internal
by
code of
360
conduct and the
Fashion.
way things flow and the way things, people communicate, the way we accept communication to happen, right? And interactions to happen. Everything from ideation to interpersonal, just the way people just interact with each other. Like all of that has to be considered and factored. What are we willing to consider? What do we consider a safe space? What do we value, right? What is our ethos? What is our mission, right? Once you can get to that, you can scale and grow like a beast. But you don't have that, and no matter what amazing ideas you have, it's going to be difficult to take that to the next level and make it happen.
So you want to update us on the charter, David? Because we have a charter, and we just need to get this thing done. It's just been teetering on the edge of completion for maybe 2 or 3 months now, it feels like. But we're not at square one here. It has been long discussed and deliberated and voted on.
I can, but I just want to make sure everyone else has a chance to speak on the topic at hand. Don't need to get into administrative stuff. But yeah.
Into what Ace says in relation to that. Control the rules, and I can only control the way that I act and speak. And I don't know. A lot's resonated with me this evening.
a decent check-in challenge for those to take 5 seconds and a deep breath and understand that you probably walked through these doors on your Todd, and even though there is this sense of community, you got to be for you, and I have to do it on my time. Basically, is I think what landed with what everyone shared this evening, you know, and I don't know. I think there's at least another 3 eruptions to happen elsewhere. So put your seatbelt on and focus on me. That's all I'm gonna do. And now, especially story time now.
Yo, can I share something?
Let's hear it, Pablo.
And you should
Tell you.
Levels of the age grade to aspire towards.
Jack, Jill, and Bitcoin. Jack and Jill bought Bitcoin via Cash App each Sunday at 3:30 in the morning. They were super happy when the doctor saw a baby in Jill's belly transforming. As the weeks passed by, their account became stronger. They both thought the balance would take much, much longer. So they sacrificed their entertainment spending and paid in more money each week. They were vegan, and their baby was born with an unassisted natural birth technique. The pandemic hit, and Bitcoin had a bear run and fell pretty low. Jack caught COVID and wanted to sell right then, but Jill said,
No! Listen to me. If we continue on with our investment leveraging, you just may learn a thing or two about dollar cost averaging.
So they continued saving and Bitcoin investing. They bought a digital wallet and kept on collecting. And sure enough, Bitcoin began to rise. It tripled in value to their complete surprise. Jack appreciated Jill and thanked her for her wit. Their generational wealth is because they did not quit. The end.
When I come into spaces where what we are doing is cultivating, we have to cultivate the process before.
You having a good time in New York?
Yeah, I'm just hanging out, chilling, enjoying the scenery, you know what I mean?
Word.
New York, woo! Great stuff, really great. Wonderful, wonderful. I can't wait. Hey, you know what? Eat the food. Amazing food. Every single food. I love it. It's just wonderful.
Especially the pizza.
The pizza. Oh my God, the pizza to die for.
Let's go.
Oh, so good.
What you don't know and you can't lead where you won't go. And when you bring that experience to those who you bring up into that behavior, the accreditation is in our practice. And what is understood doesn't need to be explained. So when you feel a certain reluctance in me, in this room, in any room from this point on, just understand that when I build what's really important to me, I am that, purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka, because I guarantee you on the other side is that Willy Wonka. You know what I mean? It's that golden ticket to what you knew you wanted in the first place, but there's a process to it. As human beings, and those of us who've never gone through that type of structure, I know what the behavior is like. It's like a child who has this candy and feels like you're taking away the candy, right? And as an adult, you know that all you're doing is taking away the cellophane so that when you give the candy back, they can enjoy it. But you got to go through that process, or you're just chewing on plastic. And that's what I feel like we've run into. I land.
I think I caught that whole analogy. It's definitely a process, Thank you, Jeffrey, again for that. I noted it: forming, then storming, then norming, and then performing. So maybe we're in that storming phase, although I feel like we're still kind of forming as well. But no, we're formed, and we just need this language ironed out. Yeah. Thank you, Baba. Anybody else?
On the subject of norming, what A was saying, the community has defined itself, as sad as it is. It has defined itself in the way that it interacts with itself. And what she was talking about as a broader issue is the community formed. There's no formality, but there's definitely been some established way of doing things that I've been thinking about a lot lately. I've kind of scarcified myself here and there where I've even felt like, damn, I'm going to come in this room and I'm just going to leave feeling like shit about myself. Like, you know, and I have thick skin. So the community, you know, how do you change a community that is inherently the way that it is? I don't know if that's possible. Like it's naturally and organically formed to be what it is. People cut each other off. People insult the hell out of each other. People, you know, it's just, and some of it's in fun, and then sometimes it just starts to get so normal that, like, you know, it's just, I don't know, man. So we all have to protect ourselves around here because the community is not going to do it for us. So whatever we do need to do to feel safe or feel better about ourselves or not feel judged so much, or, you know, to shield ourselves from potentially becoming depressed or feeling alienated, you just got to do it.
Swimming always helps me. So I don't know if you guys can go swimming or walk, get some
Yeah,
exercise.
it's awesome. I'm with you, K-Bot. Got a pool in my apartment. That's what's up. Anybody else? Thank you, everyone, for very important shares. And thank you, Adrian, for not letting me change the topic because it's a very important conversation. Yeah, I think we can maybe just hold on the B-roll for next week. I don't want to, breeze past any important conversations. I do think that, and anybody who wants to submit art for next week, please do let us know in the Discord. You can either just DM it to me specifically or drop it in the shared folder that we have. A lot of amazing art. It has been streaming over the screen. Anybody who's taken the initiative to look at the Twitch screen in Voxels has had a chance to get a peek at it. So thank you, Jocko, again for having the live stream going. It's awesome. Much appreciated. And to your question, journalist, about the charter and the votes, we're going to have votes on 4 major questions this Friday. We talked this out during our team meeting yesterday. So this Friday, we have votes on the membership status. The maximum number of members at any given time shall be 111 members. Inactive memberships: if a member misses 3 consecutive rounds of voting, they will be deemed inactive and lose their membership status within the DAO, becoming a friend of the DAO. Third one, discretionary spending: expenditures under $500 USD shall be approved at the discretion of the executive board. And the fourth one, kind of fun treasury goal: if the USDC reserves reach the equivalent of 111 Bitcoin plus fees worth of funds, the DAO will pay out 1 Bitcoin to each active member. So that's when we're raking in the dough, you know. So that's going to happen this Friday. And then we're looking at parceling the entire charter into 3 sections starting next Friday on the 9th of September. So there'll be 3 votes on the intro section, middle section, and end section, which I have better notes for, but I don't have it in front of me right now. So hopefully that answers that question you had, Journalist. Anyone else have any questions around that?
Hopper, trapper, grinder, pusher of the fixes to the fiends you can find. Visual fixes, critical damage. Lighter out of whack, burnt your mustache, battle it, boundary cross, hype tip, drip down on me, frown on me, get the fuck from round him, and bitch. He don't wanna face y'all stairs. Broke windows for car sounds, off to see the doc cause he's sick. Lean need his medicine, lean, he feel better. His teeth don't cease trembling if he don't get a fix.
Send me the link. Send me the link after you
upload. Say shot in the sky, junkies find fix. Cars pass by in the sound boy. Say shot in the sky, junkies find fix. Broken.
Thank you, Brooke, for
toys. God don't make no junk.
Love the community
Cars
art.
pass by in the sound boy. Say shot in the sky, junkies find fix. Broken toys can't super glue what they bust.
To the contributors to today's music and art, I really enjoyed it. Aside from myself, I want to make one announcement that Friday, the Meta Train, you get 2 cars. Imagine being in a train and you're moving inside of it, just like at Walt Disney World or Disneyland, where they move the screens around you. So while the screen is moving around you, you can populate that train with your art, your NFTs, your music, yourself, your message, your teleports, your website. So Friday is the first look of the Meta Train. You get 2 cars. We're going to think about the caboose and the front part for something special. So look out for that. Get ready. Meta Train Friday right here. Storytime down. K-Bot out.
Meta Train Friday. Let's go. Are you going to schedule that in the story time down? Schedule it up so we can make sure we don't miss it.
Your train can have a story too. The train can have a story itself. You can put bushes around it, whatever message you're trying to put out. Graffiti, whatever.
Nice. Oh yeah, I was supposed to. Yeah, Friday Fables. That was another thing we talked about during the meeting yesterday. Doing Friday Fables at 5 p.m. instead of 3 p.m. Just pushing it back a bit more since it's Friday, and yeah, it works better for Low. And we had been having to push it anyway, so gonna put that out there, and I'll schedule it in there. And were you talking about doing the Meta Train at Friday Fables, K-Bot? Just to confirm.
Certainly, just kind of give the first
Yeah,
look to it, how
no
everybody
doubt.
can participate. Yep.
Awesome. Something to look forward to. There we go. Cool. Lo, do you have anything else to add, or Adrian, or anyone else?
I just direct messaged you, Lo.
He might be rugged.
Who's that?
Me? Is that me?
Somebody said they direct messaged me. Who?
That was me. That was Pilar.
On what? Where?
Here on ABN.
Oh, okay.
Man, who uses Adobe Perspective Grid tool, man? I'm having the
Say
hardest.
what now?
The Adobe Perspective Grid tool. Anybody here uses that?
That sounds like a marijuana man.
I'm trying. I'm trying to place this image on the perspective grid, and it ain't doing it.
Yes, Pilar. Sorry.
Do everything fucking right. Fuck. So, excuse me, y'all.
I think there's a blockchain gospel room at the minute.
I
Talking
get
about
really
so,
annoyed with the Adobe suite in general. Hoops, is that part of the suite that they friggin' make you like have that whole family of flipping apps, and even if you want to use one, and it's the recurring billing?
Yeah, I've been up, but I use the whole suite. It's been a part of. I've been using it for about 10 years now. It's been, and I pay for it, but I'm just having some small problems with this stupid grid tool. But hey, y'all, hope y'all doing all right.
That's why you need to use your telepathy. Stop. Oh.
We don't all got telepathy, Baba.
Superpowers.
Don't all got the superpowers. All right,
yeah,
I think
we're
we're
in
gonna
all
blow
from
it
the
up.
future.
Lo, did you have anything to add, or anyone else? Gone hitting the 2-hour
okay.
mark.
Yeah. Let's get out of here.
All right, thank you again, Jocko. It's been
There's nothing
interesting
tonight, right?
live stream tonight. No, but tomorrow we got. Or sorry, what is it? Wednesday today? Yeah, we're supposed to have an executive meeting tonight, aren't we? Sheesh, week's getting away from me. We'll follow up in the exec chat. Yeah, yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah, but we are supposed to have a meeting tonight. Yeah, we should just make sure everyone's cool with the next 2 weeks, and we want to do membership admission the following week as well. So it'd be the week of September 12th.
What I need to do on
Be
that
a good
tip, so I don't
conversation.
get left out again.
You'll be good, Baba. We'll make sure we're telling everybody every day, banging the drums, and everyone who really cares and wants to be part of it is going to be part of it. And you friends
So
with
what
the
happens
DAO
if?
are already on.
So what happens if we get more people than we have slots?
Well, then I can't promise that, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. I don't see that happening. You think they're all going to come rushing over the next 2 weeks? Yeah, we'll see.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. All right. Well, thanks everybody. We'll clarify and yeah, we'll
You about to
back
open the room,
channel
Lo?
exec.
So Pilar, you saw my answer, right? Pilar.
Peace.
She's probably texting you right now.
Miss Cote.
All right, I'm blowing it up.
All right,
You guys figure it out. All right, peace out, everyone. Pew, pew.